ka na? Ayos ka lang ba? Happy ka ba? O sad pa rin ba? Kaya't halika na, sumama ka na. Selfie na, groupie na at iba pa. Bata matanda, biyuda at biyuda, may asawa man o kaya'y wala. Sama-sama tayo'y maglakbay, dito ka na, di ka na mag-iisa. Bebop, bebop na tayo, bebop, bebop na. Let us be hip and let us up, tara sa munting tahanan, tahanan ni Kristo.
Good afternoon!
Yes, it's Paris Pastoral Accompaniment Program.
Or
And-
Bebop Live.
Yes.
Amen.
Dito na naman tayo. This is about yun sa Amoris Laetitia, paragraph 150 from
Yeah.
chapter 4, Love in Marriage.
So, kayo na po ang bahala.
Yan,
Mag-decide
tingnan niyo.
mamaya kung bakit po yung title natin ay mali
Mali.
siya. Okay? So, ang
Name
ating
mali.
guest ay si...
Aldi Katigbak.
Yan.
Siya po ay from the
Community
community
ng
of
Couples
Couples for
for
Christ.
Christ.
Doon din
Amen.
kami kasama. And ang kanya talagang mga binibigay na seminar is about theology of the body.
Yan. Okay. So, pakinggan po natin siya. Tapos, babalik po kami para sabay po tayong pag-isipan. Bakit ang title natin eh mali siya? Okay.
Magandang hapon po mga kapatid. Ngayong araw na ito, allow me to share my reflections on Amoris Laetitia 150, which talks about the erotic dimension of love. Now, for this talk, I will focus on two words na dapat talaga ay related sa isa't isa pero pilit pinaghihiwalay ng ating lipunan. Ang mga salitang ito po ay sex at marriage. At susubukan ko po rin pong sagutin ang mga sumusunod na tanong. Una, how does the world look at sex and marriage now? Pangalawa, ano ba ang plano ng ating Panginoon para sa sex at marriage? At pangatlo, sa ating sariling marriage, paano ba natin maibabalik ang plano ng ating Panginoon? So, tuloy na po natin ang ating usapan. Ano nga ba ang tingin ng mundo sa sex ngayon in relation to marriage? Noong 2013, nagkaroon po ng study na ginawa globally. At ang tanong po dun sa study na yon ay, sa mga taong hindi kasal, tama ba na ang mga tao ay mag-premarital sex? Ang sagot na lumabas ay medyo interesting po, no? Sa mga developing countries, kasama na po ang Pilipinas, ang sagot nila ay mali. Mali ang premarital sex. Pero sa mga developed countries, mas marami ang hindi sumasang-ayon na ang premarital sex ay hindi karapat-dapat. As a matter of fact, yung global median or yung average na sumagot sa survey na to, around 50% says na okay lang na magkaroon ng premarital sex. Ang mas nakakabahala ay yung trend na nangyayari. Kagaya ng sa USA, noong early 1900s, nung tinanong ang mga tao tungkol dito, practically lahat ng mga Amerikano ay hindi sang-ayon sa premarital sex. Noong mga 1950s, bumaba po ang percentage na to to about 70%. Pagdating noong 1970s, lalo pang bumaba at naging 40%. At nung ginawa ang survey na ito, nasa 25% na lang. So nakikita po natin na ang trend ay pababa ng pababa. Meaning, mas marami sa mga tao ngayon ang tingin sa premarital sex ay okay na. Pero ang aking tanong, bakit pa natin gusto pagtuunan ng pansin itong bagay na to? Bakit ba natin gusto malaman ang mga bagay na ito? Well, ang dahilan siguro ay masasagot natin kung malalaman natin kung ano ba ang relasyon ng sex at marriage, no? Sex is what sets marriage apart from all other relationships. Bilang lalaki at bilang babae, maraming uri ng relationships na pwedeng magkaroon, no? Pwedeng office mates, pwedeng friends, pwedeng classmates, pwedeng neighbors, pwedeng churchmates. Pero kung tanungin ko kayo, no? And let's be completely honest about this. Okay lang ba sa office mates, sa friends, sa classmates, sa neighbors, sa churchmates na mag-sex? Okay lang ba sa kanila? Kung talagang pag-iisipan natin, tayo magiging honest, ang lalabas sa ating isipan ay it is only in the context of marriage and between a husband and a wife that sex is rightful. Only in marriage should sex be acceptable. That is why sex is also referred to as the marital act. In some cases, ang tawag po dito ay yung marital embrace. This is what sets apart marriage from all other relationships, no? Hindi po ibig sabihin na to na ang marriage ay puro sex lang. Pero ang sinasabi po natin ay ang sex rightly belongs in marriage. Now, this is a special way for couples to bond and to express their love for one another. This is what makes marriage different from all other relationships, and this is part of God's design. Sex is part of God's plan. Bakit? Lahat ng nilikha ng ating Panginoon ay maganda. They're good, they're beautiful. Sex was created by God. So therefore, sex is beautiful. Kaya lang, along the way, no, ng history, the meaning and purpose of sex was distorted. Nagkaroon na po ng mali siya. Nagkaroon na po ng hiya. To the point na kapag pinag-uusapan na ang sex, sometimes tabu na ang pagtingin dito. Ito yung bagay na hindi pwedeng pag-usapan kung merong ibang tao. Siguro kung puro lalaki lang ang nag-uusap, pwedeng pag-usapan. Ito yung isang bagay na paningin natin, hindi pwedeng pag-usapan sa harap ng pamilya. No? Parang nasira na yung plano ng ating Panginoon para sa sex. At nagkakaroon rin ng perception tungkol sa simbahan with regard to sex. Minsan naririnig natin na baka magalit si Father pag pinag-uusapan natin yung mga bagay na yun. Or bastos yan. Bawal yan sa simbahan. Ano nga ba ang plano ng ating Panginoon para sa sex? Para masagot yan, kailangan nating bumalik all the way back from the very beginning nung panahon ng Genesis. When God first created man. Alam natin yung kwento, no? God created Adam. And after God created Adam, He said, it is not good for man to be alone. Alalahanin natin na marami nang nilikha ang ating Panginoon ng mga panahon yun. No? Ang ginawa nga niya ay sinabi niya kay Adan na pangalanan ang lahat ng mga hayop. Sa lahat ng mga hayop na nakita ni Adan, wala siyang nakita na nararapat para sa kanya. None of the creations of God proved to be a suitable partner for him. So, anong ginawa ng ating Panginoon? He said, I will make him a helper who will be his partner. So God created woman. Pinatulog niya si Adan, kumuha siya ng tadyang ni Adan, at ito ang naging unang babae, si Eva. Eve was taken from Adam's side, which shows that Adam and Eve are of the same nature and of equal dignity. So God created man and woman. They were alike. They were of the same nature, and that is the human nature. But they were also created differently. Kung titingnan natin ang katawan nila, obvious na magkaiba. One was created male, the other was created female. Merong mga bahagi ng katawan si Adan na wala si Eva, and vice versa. But in their difference, we can see that they were meant to be joined together. Because they were different, as such, we see that Adam and Eve were created to be a gift for one another. When man and woman make themselves gifts for one another, by becoming one flesh, their union becomes life-giving. And when it becomes life-giving, it brings forth new life into this earth. And that is part of God's plan. Which brings me to the next point. What is the purpose of sex? No? Siguro, para sa karamihan sa atin, review na lang ito. No? Kung babalikan natin yung Genesis chapter 2 verse 24, sabi ng ating Panginoon doon, that is why a man leaves his father and mother behind and clings to his wife. Kung titingnan po natin yun, hindi ba yun yung marriage? Iiwan ng lalaki at ng babae ang kanyang ina at ang kanyang ama at sasama sa kanyang magiging kabiyak sa buhay. Now that is marriage. And what will happen after marriage? The two shall become one flesh. And they will be united. So, the first purpose of marriage is unitive, to have union. The second purpose is procreative, which naturally can result in new life. Kung iisipin natin, napakagaling talaga ni Lord eh. Pwede naman kasing magkaroon ng babies at pipitasin na lang sa mga puno. O kung gusto natin ng bata, pupunta lang tayo sa puno at pipitas tayo ng bata. Pero hindi eh. Gusto ng ating Panginoon, in the procreation process, there will also be union. He wanted procreation to be an expression of love as well. That is why the unitive and procreative purpose of sex can never be separated. Hindi pwedeng sex lang para sa union, meaning solely for the purpose of satisfaction. Hindi rin lang pwedeng for the purpose of procreation, meaning gusto ko ng baby, pero ayoko ng asawa. Hindi po natin pwedeng ipaghiwalay itong dalawang ito. Which brings me to the next point, which is sexual desire. And tanungin ko kayo, at siguro isipin nyo yung mga napapanood yung mga sine, kung saan pinapakita dito yung desire ng mga tao. Is sexual desire evil? Hindi eh. Alam natin deep inside that sexual desire is good because God created it, and when everything which God creates is good. Pero bakit nagkakaroon tayo ng pause nung tinanong ko yung tanong na yon? Is sexual desire evil? No? Dahil na poison na yung ating isipan. Dahil sa mga nakikita natin, dahil sa mga nararanasan natin sa mundong ito. Sexual desire is good. But because of original sin, nag-iba na. Naging fallen na ang man at woman. Remember the scene doon sa Garden of Eden? After God discovered that Adam and Eve had eaten from the tree of knowledge of good and evil. Anong ginawa nila? Hindi ba nagtago sila? At nung tinanong sila ng ating Panginoon kung bakit sila nagtatago, ang sabi nila, sila ay nahihiya dahil sila ay naked. Pero before that, before original sin, they were naked but were without shame. They were naked without shame. Because of sin, the desire which was originally good now can be used to take advantage of other people. That is why Adam and Eve felt the need to cover themselves. Kasi sa tingin ni Eve, meron ng hindi magandang desire sa kanya. Meron ng pagnanasa sa kanya si Adan. Kaya kailangan niyang takpan ang kanyang katawan. They felt that the other person was going to use them. Desire which used to be good because of sin has now become bad. And as such, we need to reclaim the real definition of the unitive purpose of sex. That the goal is not self-satisfaction, but self-giving for the sake of giving of oneself to the other. Now, let's talk about Christ's love and marriage. Marriage and the spousal love of husband and wife helps us to understand Christ's love for the church. Para masagot natin yun, siguro tatanungin ko kayo, how do you describe Christ's love for the church? I want you to remember 4 words which will help us remember how Christ's love is for His church is. Number 1, Christ's love is free. Now, because of His great love for us, Christ laid down His life for us, for His people, on His own accord. Walang pumilit sa Kanya at walang kapalit. Sabi nga sa John, I lay down my life, no one takes it from me, but I lay it down on my own accord. Christ's love is also total. He gives and holds nothing back, not even His own life. Walang kamatayan ang pag-ibig sa atin ng ating Panginoon. Greater love has no man than to lay his life down for His. Christ's love is also faithful. He's true to His promise. He loves us to the end, forever, even if we are not faithful to Him. Tapat ang pagmamahal sa atin ng ating Panginoon. And Christ's love is fruitful, nagbibigay buhay. God's love for us brings us the fullness of life, a life of eternal happiness with Him. So Christ's love is free, total, faithful, and fruitful. Ang tanong ko sa inyo, can we give that same type of love to others? Kung isipin natin para mahirap, pero meron akong ipapaalala sa inyo, lalong-lalo na dun sa may mga asawa o may planong ikasal. Once upon a time in your lives, pinamis niyo yun na mamahalin niyo ang isang tao na freely, totally, faithfully, and fruitfully. Nangyari yon nung wedding day natin, nung binigkas natin ang ating mga marriage vows. Ano ba yung sinabi natin nung mga panahon yun? Nakalimutan na natin. Sabi ni Father, tinanong tayo ni Father, have you come here freely to give yourselves to each other in marriage? Ang sagot natin, yes, Father. Ang sinasabi po natin noon ay not only are we freely consenting to marrying our partner, but we are also freely choosing to give ourselves to our partners every day of our lives. So hindi tayo pinili. Walang nakatutok na shotgun sa likod natin. Ginawa natin ito dahil gusto natin ito. Ginusto natin ito. Tinanong sa atin ni Father, have you come here without reservation to give yourselves to each other in marriage? Ang sagot natin, yes, Father. Ang ibig sabihin nun, we vow to love our spouse in his or her totality. Mamahalin natin ng buong buo ang ating kabiyak, ang kanyang kagandahan at ang kanyang hindi kagandahan, ang kanyang mga good points at ang kanyang not so good points. In the same way, we are also totally giving of ourselves to our spouse. Tinanong tayo ni Father, will you love and honor each other as man and woman for the rest of your life? Sabi natin, yes, Father. Sinabi natin doon sa ating mga kabiyak that we'll be faithful to our marriage vows. We will be faithful to the end. No? Hindi lang hanggang 45 years old ang asawa ko. Hindi lang hanggang siya ay malusog. Sabi nga natin, till death do us part. Tinanong rin ni Father, will you accept children lovingly from God and bring them according to the law of Christ and His church? Ang sagot po natin, yes, Father. We will allow our love to be fruitful and we will accept any children that our God will give us. So during our wedding vows, we said that we will love our spouses freely, totally, faithfully, and fruitfully. Ngayon, noong binikas natin yung wedding vows natin, ginamit natin yung ating pananalita. Pero hindi yun sapat eh. The words have to become flesh. And that is what happens, or what happened during our honeymoon night and during all nights that we engage in the marital act. The vows cannot remain as just words. They need to be fulfilled. In the marital act between the husband and wife, we express our vows not using our words, but now using our bodies. We use our bodies to say that I will love you totally, I will love you freely, I will love you faithfully, I will love you fruitfully. Ibig sabihin po nun, habang nag-engage po tayo ng marital act, binibigay po natin yung ating buong katawan. Binibigay po natin ang ating buong pag-iisip. Hindi po tayo napipilitan. Isa lamang ang ating mamalihin panghabang buhay. At tayo ay bukas, sino mang anak na ibibigay sa atin ng ating Panginoon. So, bakit nagkakagulo? Bakit ba ngayon nagkakaroon na ng negative connotation about sex? When in fact, based on what I've said so far, sex is good, sex is beautiful, sex is from God. It is not meant to be malicious. It is not meant to be something to be ashamed of. It is not dirty. It is not bad. But rather, it allows us to love our spouse just as Christ loved His church. Siguro dapat natin i-clarify ulit ang definition ng sex. What sex is not. Sex is not about getting something from my spouse that will give me pleasure or satisfaction. Hindi ito pagpaparaos. Hindi ito yung kaya lang natin ginagawa dahil, well, pardon the term, nangangati tayo. No, that is not what sex is about. Sex is not about using our spouse for something I want or something I need. Hindi ito yung ginagamit ko ang aking kabiyak. Hindi ito yung dahil meron akong nakitang magandang sapatos at wala akong pambili, sasabihin ko sa asawa ko, honey, mamaya pwede tayong magtalik, pero pwede bang bilhin mo sa akin yung magandang sapatos na nakita ko? Or hindi rin ito yung gantihan. Dahil may ginawang masama ang ating kabiyak, gagantihan natin at sasabihin natin, ngayon, outside the kulambo ka kasi ganito ko sa'yo. Sex is not a right that we deserve. No? Hindi ito karapatan na dahil asawa kita at gusto ko ngayon, kailangan gusto mo rin. Hindi ganun ang sex. But rather, sex is a self-gift. It is about giving all to the one I promise to love freely, totally, faithfully, and fruitfully. Ito ay ang pagbibigay ng buong pagkatao natin sa taong ating minamahal. Kaya nga hindi pwedeng ang sex gawin sa taong hindi tayo kasal. Dahil hindi natin maibibigay ang buong pagkatao natin kung hindi pa tayo kasal. Parating merong agam-agam, may takot, may pagdududa each time we engage in premarital sex or sex outside marriage. Sex is not a right. I deserve to get whatever I want, whenever I want, however I want. But rather, it is a privilege, no? Isang pribileyo to love my spouse as Christ loves His church. Hindi ba napakaganda nun kung ganun natin iisipin ang sex? Mahirap ba to? Oo. Tingin ko, mahirap. Pero kailangan natin gawin eh. Kailangan natin talagang bigyan ng pag-iisip. Sa pag-iisip ko, na pag nilay-nilayan ko yung, di ba minsan ginagamit yung making love to connote sex? Parang mali eh. Diba? Kasi, what do we make? We make cookies. We make projects. We make stuff. But do we make love? Siguro dapat palitan na rin natin yun eh. Sabihin natin, giving love. Sex is about giving love and making God part of our relationship. Karamihan sa atin, sinasabi natin that God is in the center of our relationship in our life. No? Pero, nandun pa siya sa center ng lahat ng aspects ng married life natin. To be specific, nandun ba si God sa aspect ng sexual life natin? Pag-isipan natin yung tanong na yon. Siguro for most of us, ang iniisip natin, ay, nakakahiya naman. Parang hindi dapat nandun si God kapag nasa marital embrace kami. My brothers and sisters, di ba nung una sabi nga, naked without shame? Wala tayong dapat ikahiya kung ang ating ginagawa ay mabuti. Kung ang ating ginagawa ay karapat-dapat at kaaya-aya sa mata ng ating Panginoon. My brothers and sisters, let God be a part not only of our marriage, but of our sexual life as well. Ito po ang bunga ng mga reflections ko sa Amoris Laetitia 150. Sana po ay meron kayong napulutan sa hapon na ito. Maraming salamat po. God bless po sa inyong lahat.
Okay, so maraming salamat na maraming naiparating sa atin na magandang mensahe tungkol sa mali ba siya?
Mali siya.
Hindi naman siya mali,
Alam niyo kung
Hindi siya mali.
Hindi siya mali, pero mali siya. Ang ibig sabihin niya may malis, di ba? Kasi sabi nga niya, di ba, tungkol doon na nagkaroon ng mali siya, ang sex. Dahil nga doon sa kinuwento niya.
Ganun pala yun, ano? Pagka mali siya, eh merong hiya. Nahihiya ka. Samantalang yung hindi, eh walang hiya.
Kaya naman nagkataon na merong mali. Kasi yun yung inilagay na dapat wala naman yung dati. Hindi ba?
Kaya ang ganda-ganda ng plano ng Diyos.
Sa kwento niya, no, ayaw na namin ulitin kasi panoodin nyo na lang ulit yun. So,
pero,
ang ganda.
Pero ang nagustuhan ko, kasi yan ay napakahirap pag-usapan, lalo na sa isang pamilya. Or tayo, ang hirap i-explain dahil sa binibigay natin ng pre-K na, ang hirap i-explain. Pero isa ang na-pick up ko, sabi niya, what sets apart doon sa marriage act or marital act na ginagawa nung dalawang nag-iibigan. Pagka yan ay within the marriage, nasa loob ng marriage, parang walang hiya-hiya, no? Pero pagka yung outside, ang dami mong kinatatakutan.
Talaga.
So hindi ka
parang
talagang
illegal.
Free. Hindi ka totally free to express whatever you feel. Yan. Parang gamitan lang. Parang ganon. Just to, meron kantang ganon di ba? Yung, love me for what I am, for simply being me.
Don't love me for what you intend and hope that I would be. And if you're only using me to feed your fantasy,
ganyan ang madalas
you're really
nangyayari.
not in love. Okay!